So in this video, we're going to talk about basic interaction with the Cisco command line interface. Now finally, after all of these slideshows we've gone through and all the basic knowledge we've gathered up to this point, we finally get to interact with some actual Cisco hardware. So let's get started. Normally, when you connect a console cable to a switch, much as I have here to my Cisco 2960, you will get this interface. It tells you that the console is available. Press return to get started. This switch has absolutely no configuration on it, so it is as vanilla and as generic as we're going to see. And of course, we will go through the process of configuring it and getting it up and functioning on the network elsewhere in the course. But this video is just about how to interact with the command line interface. Now, normally when you log into a switch, you are presented with what's called the user exec prompt, and you can tell it's the user exec because it has this greater than sign as the last character of the prompt. Now, the Cisco CLI is very straightforward. We'll just dig in here and show you some of the commands you can use and some of the ways you can interact with the command line for command line editing. Your best friend in this situation will be the question mark key. You enter question mark, and you get commands that are valid for your specific context. In this case, we've not started to enter any other commands, so we see all the commands that are available to us. And obviously, since we are in user exec mode, these commands are a subset of all of the commands available to configure the switch or check the status or so on and so forth. Now, if we start to enter a command, for example, if we enter show and enter question mark after show, it shows us everything that's valid for the show command. In this case, we can do show crypto or show EPM or show flash. One of the things you'll notice if you've dealt with any Cisco hardware is you don't see the run command in here. Normally it would be right here after RMON, but because we're in user exec mode, we don't have the option to show the running configuration. Now we can show inventory, for example. So if we do show inventory, obviously the inventory in the fixed configuration switch will be the switch, which is a 296048 port, and this gives you the serial number, the part ID, and so on and so forth. Not really anything that's useful in most cases. On a router, that's a little different because you can actually do show inventory, and it will tell you if the router has any DSPs or any line cards, T1s, so on and so forth. But for a switch, which is what we're on now, that's all you get, at least in user exec mode. So now, as an example, I'm going to enter a command that's not valid. For example, I will type show run and hit enter. And it actually tells us invalid input detected at caret marker, and it shows you where in your command line you typed an incorrect command. In this case, it doesn't recognize run as a valid argument for the show command because, again, we're in user exec mode, so it's pointing at this run saying you can't enter run as an argument for the show command. Now, this question mark help works even if there's more than one argument required. For example, if we do show VTP and hit question mark, we see that the valid commands for this point in the command line is counters or status. So if we do show VTP status and hit question mark, it says there's nothing else you can do. You can pipe it out to a file or pipe it out to another command, or you can hit the carriage return and just run the command. In this case, we do show VTP status. We're not running VTP because this guy has a generic vanilla out-of-the-box configuration. So you'll notice that one of the options for the show VTP status was the output modifiers. The output modifiers can be your best friend, especially if you are doing a show run on a router or a switch where the running configuration is just impossibly long and you only want to pull out certain parts of the configuration. So we'll do show VTP status, and we'll do the pipe, which is shift and the key over the enter key that's above the backslash. If we do that and we hit question mark, we get several options for the redirection commands. Now, these vary based upon the platform and upon the version of the iOS that you're running on the device. For example, some of the routers that you'll see as we progress through this course will actually include a section command. So you can say, pull out just the EIGRP section or just the RIP section and show me just those configuration commands. This switch does not support the section command, but we can do begin or count, exclude, format, or include. So for example, let's say we wanted to include lines that included the word mode. So we do include, and then we type mode, and you'll notice the only lines that get returned are these three here, the operating mode, the pruning mode, and the VTP v2 mode. Those three lines are the only ones that are returned. So if you were running, for example, a show interface status, and we piped that through, and we only want to include lines that have the word down in them. Obviously, there's none that include the word down. Okay, so it's not connect in this particular iOS. So if we do show interface status, we do include not connect. I may have just hit a bug in this particular version of the iOS. At any rate, it should pull out any lines that have the not connect word in it. So we'll pick up with our basic command line interaction in the next video.